Only Facts, salute. Sam Weiser, Amanda Erickson, salute. Bobby Ramos, Red Jones, salute. Make sure I sent. So what's going on today? What's going on today? Another day. Yeah, I got lots going on. The 18 series page we have to be good. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. That's right. That's right. I appreciate y'all. I know it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy, but I appreciate it. Tiara, salute. So I was talking to Tiara. We might have a little collaboration coming up. We're gonna build on it some more, but I'm excited. I'm excited. So y'all see the title. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, I always heard about the youth being misguided youth, and some people speak of a rebellious phase that you know the youth go through a rebellious phase. You know, adolescence. So I was thinking about that today, and I thought about the word misguided. So growing up, I always thought that meant that because I was put in a category of misguided, right? And I always, I never really thought about that term. So I start thinking about that. I think just today. I think just today it crossed my mind. You know, when I hear the term misguided youth, or the youth is misguided, I think to myself now, 20 twins, salute. I was in that category of spoiled. They were right. Right. But when I think about that now, you know what I think about? When I was young, I didn't think about it. Because the adults, that's like an adult term. Misguided youth. But now that I'm an adult, I think to myself, who misguided them? Because now, as an adult, we are automatic role models. And I've had the mentality where I would be like, I'm not nobody role model. I'm not trying to be a role model. But when you become an adult, it's automatic. It's automatic when you become an adult, because the way society and the system is set up, the youth looks up to the adults. They look to the adults for guidance, for advice. So if the youth is misguided, are they misguided by the adults, by us? Because they can't really misguide each other. So I was just thinking about that, because it's like we get to a certain age where we blame the youth. The youth is misguided. The youth is out of control. But how did they get that way? Were they born that way? Now, kids don't learn from each other. If kids learn from each other, they learn that from an adult. So any of these behaviors we see, from the youth, and it makes, some of us cringe or just can't understand how this could be. Just remember that's just an reflection of an adult. Now, for instance, right? I have I have some friends. They have a daughter. So you know they daughter does a certain kind of like if you sit their daughter on your lap or something like that, she does a certain thing, right? So me personally, a lot of people ignore it, but me, I can't ignore something like that. So I start asking questions like, where is this behavior coming from? And they didn't know. So I had another friend who had a son that kind of did similar. He kind of did that a similar type of motion. If you can understand what I mean, and he learned this motion because his parents used to be entertaining each other, and they thought he was asleep. So one day, it's dark. They caught him watching, right? And this is where he was getting this behavior from. So I asked my other friends in them, do they have, the child in the room when they're, Lord Doc, salute, Angel. But my point is, sometimes, you have certain, children be watching and you don't know, is my point. So, one of your children may do something and you discipline them and you wondering where they learned it from, and they actually learned it from you. Like I got other friends, they got children who say curse words. They curse. Sometimes it's funny. They think it's funny, but when it's around the wrong people, they discipline the child. And I always say, listen, you can't think that's fun. Like, even if you think something like that is funny, you can't laugh in front of the child. They run from trouble with trouble. So you have to, I always say you have to take responsibility for, the behavior of your children. And on a broader note, us as adults, when we out in public and we do certain things in public, the youth, are watching. So, a lot of things that I do as an adult that I've learned as a child was maybe from a movie or an adult. I seen it, it intrigued me somehow, and I just start picking up this behavior. Right? So, when we was kids, I don't know if anybody, when y'all was kids, anybody used to play house. And when you play house, you mimic, your parents. You are the parents now, right? And I only played house now. I don't know why, females or other kids played, but I played house because I always wanted to be, you know, the father. You feel what I'm saying? Because I knew what that came with. Sky Swizzy, salute. Played doctor, yep. I always wanted to be the doctor. Now in house, you could be the father, you could be the son. Like I never wanted to be, you know. So, I picked up these behaviors. I've learned these behaviors. Um, Sometimes I used to act like I was, rolling up weed. I used to get a bunch of loose leaf paper and some I'll bust open some tea bags. But I learned that from seeing my uncle. I didn't know what he was doing at the time, but I thought he was cool, and I wanted to be cool. Angel, salute. What's your story, TV? Salute. So one time, I was in school, and I decided that I was going to take this game or whatever I thought it was to school. So I got a couple tea bags. I was showing my friends, and at the time, I didn't notice at the time, but when the teacher knew what we was doing, so the teacher must have known somebody who, or knew something about that, because, you know, it wasn't really commercials or songs where, you know. So I got in trouble for this, and you know, when I'm in the office and all my parents in there, they all asking me, "Where you learn this from? Like, who showed you this?" And that was the first time I knew I was a stand-up individual because I did not give my uncle up. Queen Kel, salute. I knew better. DBN. I didn't know. I didn't know it was nothing wrong or nothing like that, but I knew it was something wrong because obviously I was in trouble. But I learned a valuable lesson from that. Even when I was in the streets and I was in my savage mode and all that, I did not smoke in front of kids. I felt uncomfortable. I always seen them watching. Like I always see kids watching because I remember when I was a kid, I was watching. And some parents would be like, "Oh, it's okay. We do it in front of them anyway. But it's not okay with me." And that's what I used to tell them. I mean, it's okay with you. I feel you, but it's not okay with me. So sometimes, they remove the kid out the room, or they won't, and I will just not partake. You feel what I'm saying? Hassan, salute. Because I didn't want to be the one. I don't want to be the one to be the impression of that person who gave that child this impression, or that led them into doing certain activities. But my point is, what I'm saying is, all of the things that I did growing up, all the mistakes that I made, all of the the negative and bad things I didn't learn from another child, and if I did, they learned it from an adult. I remember I used to ask questions like, why I can't do this and you can do that. And my mama would tell me, when you get out on your own, pay your own bills, you can do whatever you want to do. But that's not true. So what I learned from that is, I'm a kid, so I can't do adult things in front of adults. I just can't get caught. That's what I learned. I could do anything I want as long as I don't get caught. So, when I got my own place, I had to learn the hard way. When you're an adult, it's actually less things that you could do, and you will have to now you have to take the responsibility for what you do. And I wasn't told that. I was told when you get out on your own and you can pay your own bills, you can do whatever you want to do. Now that's true, but I wasn't taught the consequences. So I'm big on that with anybody. Whether it be the youth, adults, I'm big on consequences because I stand on any consequence. Anything, anytime I do something, it don't go my way. I got to stand on that. So now we talk about this generation that's entitled. This entitled generation. That's kind of our fault because now we the parents and all of that, and some of us try to be friends with our kids, or some of us try to not you know discipline them like our parents did us or their parents did them. Some of our parents tried to be cool with us and you know not separate adults from children. So as a lot of us now, we look at this social media. When we come into this social media, rebel salute, and we say the youth is out of control, the youth is running around, the youth is the problem. They misguided, but that's what they supposed to. The youth is supposed to make mistakes. They're supposed to do that, and we have the responsibility of guiding the youth. So if we're saying the youth is misguided, we're actually blaming ourselves because we come up with some. The youth is misguided. Who misguided them? Some mysterious being misguided them. Were they possessed? And when I look around on this social media, I don't see the youth on social media. I see the youth flourishing. Now, maybe, the youth, I always tell people the majority of the youth are doing what they're supposed to do or at least trying. Now, it's a small minority that gets into trouble and causes trouble. I used to be a part of this minority. And this minority seems to get the most attention. They get rewarded when they do good things, but the youth that's doing what they supposed to do, they get no reward. So I'm not gonna lie. I've noticed, I out of all my brothers, I have six brothers. I got the most attention because I got into the most trouble. And when you young, attention is attention. I'm gonna repeat that. When you young, attention is attention. So if your parents is giving more attention to one of your siblings because they always get in trouble, it even started to rub off on some of my siblings. Keys to the city, salute. So, that's understandable. The youth is supposed to get into trouble, learn from their mistakes, or not. Maybe they won't. But the problem is when I look on this social media, I see the youth on here flourishing. They're becoming young millionaires. They're doing their skits. They're doing their pranks. Now you got a small minority that may get into trouble. The drill music. The street stuff. The But for the most part, but when I look at the adults on here, the most notorious content creators who say the most egregious, disrespectful, they're not the youth. Pilato, salute. This is not the youth. I even see people on here speaking about how the youth is destroying the communities and doing this and doing that simultaneously, emulating while they're emulating what the youth is doing. So they're speaking about what the youth is doing and they speaking down on it while simultaneously partaking in the same behaviors. Matter of fact, when I look on here, the youth don't even watch this stuff. It's all adults, parents, grandparents, even some great grandparents. So is the question is the youth is misguided by who? How do we expect the youth to stop drilling, spinning the block if we on here talk about we pulling up? How we expect the youth to stop the violence while we on here promoting violence? So I think sometimes the people on here who's participating in these activities, they're the minority on here. They're the minority on here. And the people who's actually speaking down on it, speaking against it, is mostly the people who's partaking in it on here. I see other platforms, they do skits. I see sometimes couples. I see kids. I see all types of people. I see them start out. They start their page out. They got their concept. They doing what they doing. They not partaking in no foolishness. They're not insulting anyone. They're not going back and forth with no internet drama. They may do some trolling, but it's not no malicious trolling. And I see them start off humbly, and then slowly their numbers grow. They're getting their plaques. They're pushing foreigns. They're getting beautiful homes. Some of them are having children and becoming families, establishing businesses, six-figure businesses, and not even bragging or boasting about it. So should should these people take our an example from us, or should we take an example from them? Because maybe what it is a lot of them was born into this. Like this was here. Like a lot of us, this was not here when we were born, when we were youth, when we were kids. So when we was kids growing up, you got some adults, that was intrigued. They asked questions. They learned. They kept up, but they didn't act like us. We also learned something from them. They didn't really hang out with us. We still had a respect for them. Oh, that's an adult. We just telling them about the new uh, songs that's out, the new music, the new dances. I remember I got an aunt, and she loved learning about the new dances. And every time one of my nieces, one of my brother, or anybody showed her a new dance, 8 or 9 times out of 10, she knew the dance, but it was called something else in her day. So we've learned from each other. But now it's like the youth is looking at us like they don't know what they doing. We don't even want no parts of that. We over here doing this, and we looking at the youth like we know everything. They don't know nothing. But maybe they know what to do when they get on here. Like my little brother, he knows analytics. He doesn't even really do this internet stuff. He knows analytics from school or whatever. It's just something in his in their vocabulary. Analytics is just something that's new to me. When I heard analytics, what the hell is analytics? I had to go look it up. Analytics, but that's just a word in a vocabulary. Cola James, salute. Miss Davis. Right, right. I mean, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Like, in general, you see some people get offended, but when you speak of the youth and you speak of adults, I'm an adult collectively. So some of us may not all of us may not do these things, but some of us do. Kane, salute. And this is the worst because now, back in the days, our parent, listen, I'm an adult now, right? We all adults. And when we were kids, we thought adults didn't do certain things, but they just didn't let us see it because we still cut up. We still feel like we still feel like the same people. But we know now we have responsibilities as adults that, that's why we be having these secret society, like, I don't want to say secret society, but y'all know. Y'all know what we do. We have adult fun. We have adult places. We do adult things. And our parents used to do adult things in adult places. But now, what's different is now we do it on here where anyone can see. the most respectable. I even know this because my mother had some friends, the sweetest, the sweetest ladies they known in the neighborhood as the nicest, sweetest lady. All never say nothing bad about nothing. But we used to do something when we used to be supposed to be asleep. We'll go sneak over there and like we in the bushes listening, to the adults and the, running back. We almost got caught. It was like a game to us. So sometimes we used to hear them in there cutting up. And some of the sweetest ladies that you would never expect will talk, will say them. I done heard some of the sweetest ladies that I thought will never even speak a certain way or say something, behind closed doors in a room with a bunch of ladies just going in, cussing like a sailor, talking crazy about the same lady. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, you remember that? B dime, you feel me? So some adults are not the same uh, in public that they are in private, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think public things are for the public, and private things are for private. And as time goes on, we want to be like children. We don't want to be adults. We don't want to keep the tradition going. We want to do everything out in the open. We don't want to keep it private. We don't want to quote unquote hide it. No, we're not hiding it. It's just not made for public because you have people's children out there. You have, you know. So now when you open that door, when you want to do things in public that you should do in private, it's some real as adults, we know it's some real weirdo adults. Now it's weirdo children and youth, but it's still a chance for them. But as adults, we know it's some weirdo adults. It ain't no hope for them. And these people need to be you know. So when we want to do things out in the public, just know once you open that door, people salute. Frankie Blanco salute. And that's why you see, listen, I'm from New York. I grew up in New York. Some people are from small towns. I lived in the Poconos for 20 years or more. I don't know, but I see the difference in New York. You ever see Men in Black? It's like that. It's all types of you can see all types of if you go out in New York, if you go downtown to the city, midtown, and you will see all types of things. It'll look like it's aliens and people from different planets. It's different from like a quiet small town where people look normal for the most part. So I know once you open that door, I done seen it's all types of things that go on outside now, and it's like it ain't used to be like that. I see things, and I see these things being done by not adults. I see adult things being done by the youth, and they're getting younger and younger and younger. And sometimes I'll say something. Now, especially to the lady, like to the young girls, like to the young boys, I'll say something, but not too much because they're young boys, and I don't want to put nobody no hands on nobody kids. You feel what I'm saying? But to the young females, I remember one time I came back to my block, right? And on my old corner, I seen a bunch of girls on the corner, like some of them had on hoodies, like they was like they holding down the corner. So when I got closer and closer, I recognized some of these girls from when they was little girls. And now they was out there like they was grown men. And I told them, listen, I don't know what y'all doing out here, but this is what y'all gonna do. While I'm out here, you're not gonna be out here. Now that used to be my job, you know what I'm saying? Running people off, but I knew, listen, it may not have done nothing. It may have, but all praises to the most high. I knew for that time that I was out there, they were safe from right there. Cause I don't know where they went after that. But right there, ain't nothing gonna happen to them right there. Because I remember these little girls, I know they mothers, and I was shocked that nobody in the neighborhood did that. But things have changed. Things have changed. Things have changed. And listen, all praises to the most high. I got a mission and a message. And I will say something, even if, the youth wanna, look, feel taken some type of way and all that. Because listen, I done put my life on the line for negative things. I done. So now, yeah, I put my life on the line for things that's positive. And I don't think it's nothing more important than the youth. Because at the end of the day, those is our next leaders. Those are the people who's going to change this, foolishness that's going on in the world, the system, or whatever. We might not be here, but we can instill these morals, values, and principles. Silence is compliance. And I tell people that in our age, this is our age, this is our time. We the adults now. We the ones who guide the youth. It's our time. We rule the world collectively. If we want change, we're the ones to do it. There's no one else. The youth ain't ready to do it. The elders already did what they did. Exile one, salute. So, we ain't got nobody to blame but us. It's our time now. I mean, we can wait it out and let the next generation come in and do what they do. But if we don't do what we supposed to do, they're gonna be misguided. And they're gonna get in this position and they're gonna misguide the next generation. And the next generation. And the next generation. till a generation comes along that's ready to stand up and stop casting blame. Look at the mirror. But anyway, I just had to say that. I was thinking about that. Salute. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up here and speak. Any questions, comments? I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the support. Now I know I got to stop coming up with these topics off the fly, but I'm just getting myself conditioned to get back into doing this type of content. So might take me a week, it may take me a month, it could even take me a year. But I tell you this, I will attempt